Now, in the fifth class of nuclear physics, let us study nuclear models. You know that Bohr-Sommerfeld atomic model, based on the experimental facts, indicates that atom has a central positive nucleus surrounded by a negatively charged electrons, such that whole mass of the atom is assumed to be concentrated at the center, and also entire positive charge is concentrated at the center. To make the atom electrically neutral, the net amount of positive charge on the nucleus is equal to the net amount of negative charge on the revolving electron. Further, the study of natural radioactivity indicates that radioactive elements emits alpha, beta, gamma particles. It gives the internal structure of the nucleus. Though the structure of the nucleus is more compact, but it is complex. Then, artificial transmutations of these radioactive elements means the non-radioactive elements are converted into radioactive element by some means, indicates the existence of some particles inside a nucleus. They are alpha particle, protons, neutrons, positrons, and electrons. Inside the nucleus, these 5 particles are present. Then study of this alpha and gamma ray spectra also gives the internal structure of the nucleus, whereas the study of this beta ray spectra introduces the new element or new particle called as neutrino. See how many particles are present inside the nucleus. And study on the cosmic rays proves that nucleus consists of positive and negative particles called as mesons. Cosmic rays. Further, these positive mesons and negative mesons decays into positron and electron. So based on all these facts, what is the exact structure of the nucleus? To determine the exact structure of the nucleus becomes a troublesome job. Then some models are proposed since 1932 to explain these facts. The proposed models are: one is liquid drop model, and the second one is shell model, and third one is Fermi gas model. Fourth one is collective model. And fifth one is optical model. All these models are based on some simple assumptions, but each model explains only part of the nuclear structure, not entire thing. Therefore, the investigation of nuclear investigations is still under progress. No model is an appropriate model. So for your syllabus, you are supposed to study these two models. One is the liquid drop model, another one is cell model. Now let us study liquid drop model. So Bohr in 1936 suggested that liquid might be like a droplet of dense liquid with sub-droplets, protons and neutrons it contains. This picture of the nucleus is analogous to the macroscopic water droplets with molecules present inside that water drop. So we know that binding energy per nucleon curve for a lighter nucleus goes on increasing and remains constant for heavy nucleons. That means binding energy depends on the size of the nucleus and it depends on atomic number A, number of protons and neutrons. If the number of protons and neutrons goes on increasing, definitely the size of the nucleus goes on increasing. So size of the liquid drop depends on radius. You know that volume of the nucleus is given by 4 by 3 pi r cube. This is volume. So volume of the liquid drop goes on increasing if its radius increases. This radius is given by r is equal to some constant r naught, a is to 1 by 3. So what is this r naught? R naught is a constant. The value of R naught is 1.2 Fermi. Value of R naught is 1.2 Fermi. You know that this 1 Fermi is equal to 10 raised to minus 15 meter. Then A is mass number. As mass number increases, radius increases. As radius increases, volume goes on increasing. So we came to the conclusion that the nucleus, atomic nucleus, behaves like the drop of a liquid, dense liquid. And what are the similarities? So first similarity is the liquid drop of water is assumed to be spherical. The liquid drop is assumed to be spherical and nuclear shape is also assumed to be spherical. Both of them are spherical. Then second similarity is the density of this liquid drop is not depending upon volume. The density mass per unit value is not depending upon the volume. And here also nuclear density remains constant for all the nuclei. It is also not depending upon the volume, but here in this analogy there is some disparity. What is that? You consider certain kerosene oil, certain volume of the kerosene oil, and also consider same volume of water. Both of them are liquid. Same volume of water, same volume of kerosene oil. Is density same? No. That means the density of different liquids is different, but nuclear density is same. Then third similarity. Inside the liquid, the molecule can interact only with the neighboring molecules, not a molecule which is lying at large distance. In other words, it is a short range reaction compared to this diameter of the liquid. Means consider the total diameter of the liquid. Liquid contains many molecules and there is a force of attraction between the molecules. Say consider 3 molecules, these two are nearer, there exists the internal reaction but not with a molecule which is lying at large distance. It is called as short range forces. And in the same manner, we have studied somewhere in the nuclear force that nucleons of the nucleus can react with only its neighbors, not at large distance. Means they are short range forces. Then fourth one. What is the fourth similarity? See, on the surface of this liquid drop, surface tension forces acts. On the surface tension forces acts. And similarly, there is a barrier potential due to this positive charge on the surface of the nucleus. Surface tension force is similar to barrier potential. This is spherical because of surface tension forces. Then, fifth one. Consider this is a liquid having certain temperature. We know that molecules of the liquids are in a random motion, they are moving here and there, where we have studied the kinetic theory of the gases with some energy. Then go on giving some extra heat energy. What happens? The molecule starts moving with a greater velocity. Means the kinetic energy goes on increasing. So after reaching certain stage, this liquid gets evaporated. This is in the case of liquid. Means we have increased the internal energy of the liquid and it evaporates. Similarly, if certain extra energy is given to the nucleus by bombarding it with light particles, then compound nucleus is formed. Suddenly it emits the nucleons. If the nucleus is targeted with the light particles, when that light particle enters the nucleus, suddenly it becomes unstable it starts emitting or evaporating the nucleons. And if you consider a liquid drop, set this liquid drop to oscillate, then slowly, after some time, the entire liquid drop is separated into two fragments of comparable size. Means we have divided that entire liquid drop into two. Then, in the same manner, we have studied the nuclear fission. What happens in the nuclear fission? If a slow neutron is bombarded the nucleus 0 and 1, and that atom becomes unstable, suddenly it split up into different fragments. That what we are studying, the uranium is divided into krypton, barium and krypton. So this is nuclear fission. In the same manner, if it is set to oscillate by giving certain energy, then after some times it is divided into two. These are the 6 comparisons between liquid drop model and atomic model. Now, you are supposed to study some demerits of this liquid drop model. So, first demerit is this liquid drop model could not explain why number of protons and number of neutrons are equal in the case of lighter nuclei, but the number of neutrons are more than the number of protons in the case of heavier nucleus. Then second one is, according to this model, the nucleus is said to be strongly bonded and it is more stable if it contains more number of neutrons than the protons. So then definitely the force of repulsion or interaction between the protons reduces. Then third demerit is, this could not explain why there is no isotope of 2He3 and isotope of 8O16, which contains the greater fraction of the neutrons than actually what they have, isotopes have. So these are the 3 demerits of this liquid drop model. Now next we have to obtain semi-empirical mass formula of a nucleus. We will ask this in the examination as a 10-mark question. The scientist known as Van Weizsäcker in 1935 proposed this semi-empirical mass formula for a nucleus mass number A, atomic number Z. According to him, the semi-empirical mass formula is M ZA is equal to Z into MP plus A minus Z into Mn minus B upon C square. Call this equation as 1. Here Z is number of protons, A is number of protons plus number of neutrons, A minus Z will give number of neutrons, Mp is mass of each proton, Mn is mass of each neutron. So B is binding energy term. Binding energy term. This binding energy term B consists of series of terms. Each term specifically explains the nuclear character. So, what are those binding energy terms? The first one is volume energy. Consider three nuclei of different size. Means volume of the nucleus goes on increasing. Why it increases? Definitely A increases. What is A? A is number of nucleons present inside the nucleus. See, number of nucleons present inside the nucleus, as volume goes on increasing, as A increases, volume also increases. Therefore, volume increases. Here A increases, volume increases, binding energy increases. Just state that in binding energy per nucleon curve. For a nuclei having a mass number greater than 82, almost binding energy remains constant. That means this binding energy, we consider it as the volume energy. Therefore, volume energy, E volume, is given by some constant volume into A. Call this equation as 1. Why it is A? Because volume is proportional to A. This is one term of this B. And the second term is surface energy. What is this surface energy? So consider this nucleus. All nucleons are attracted by their neighboring nucleon, binding energy. But if the nucleons are lying on the surface of this nucleus, only they are influenced by the part of this nucleus, part area of that nucleus. And similarly, this side, only half of the area of that entire nucleus. Then we have surface energy term. You know that surface energy term depends on surface area. Then surface area depends on square of the radius. Surface area depends on the square of the radius. You also know that R is equal to R naught A is to 1 by 3. If it is square, it is A is to 2 by 3. Then energy possessed by the nucleons on the surface is called as surface energy. E surface is equal to some constant C surface into A is to 2 by 3. Call this equation as 2. So it is a volume constant and it is a surface constant. It is given by, this is a volume energy and this one is surface energy. See, next you have to discuss third energy is Coulomb energy. See, while discussing volume energy, we have neglected the number of protons inside the nucleus exhibits Coulomb repulsive force. Therefore, we have to consider that Coulomb repulsive force, in other words, Coulomb energy, and that energy term has to be subtracted from the volume energy. What is this Coulomb energy? So Coulomb energy is equal to the electrostatic energy possessed by the nucleus due to number of protons packed in a symmetric assembly of radius R is equal to R naught A is to 1 by 3. So in this symmetric assembly, Coulomb energy is packed. Therefore, it's a potential energy, in other words, Coulomb energy. So E Coulomb energy is given by 3 by 5 Z into Z minus 1 E square upon 4 pi epsilon naught R, where Z is the number of protons. You know your R is this E Coulomb is equal to 3 by 5 Z into Z minus 1 E square upon 4 pi epsilon naught. R is R naught A is to 1 by 3. See here, these terms four pi epsilon naught R naught 3 by 5 and E is charge on the proton. They are constant quantities. Therefore, this can be written as C, some constant Coulomb. It is Z into Z minus 1. This is constant, and A should be taken to the numerator. A is to minus 1 by 3, or this Coulomb energy, this is E Coulomb, is equal to for some constant into Z square A is to minus 1 by 3. So this is for heavier element, means whose mass number is more. So this becomes Z square A is to minus 1 by 3. Call this equation as, it is better, you call this equation as, this is 1, and where the this is 2, and this one is 3, and this one is 4. And this Coulomb energy has to be subtracted from the volume energy. Next we have to discuss, this is fourth one, asymmetric energy. So what is this asymmetric energy? We know that for lighter nuclei, N is equal to Z. What do you mean by that N is equal to Z? Number of neutrons and number of protons are equal, which makes or which favors the stability of the nucleus. If N is greater than Z, this is the case for heavier element. Number of neutrons are more than this number of protons, binding energy of the nucleus goes on decreasing. How much it is decreased? It depends on N minus Z. What is this N minus Z? So excess number of neutrons present. So this A is equal to Z plus N. A is equal to Z plus N means what? Mass number is total number of nucleons is equal to sum of the protons and sum of the neutrons. And from this, your N is equal to A minus Z. As number of neutrons in the nucleus goes on increasing, then definitely binding energy term goes on decreasing. How much it is decreased? It depends on the fraction of the volume affected. The fraction of the nucleus affected is given by, this is N minus Z divided by A. This is the fraction of nucleus affected due to increase in the number. Then what is the net decrease in the binding energy? Net decrease in the binding energy is given by N minus Z upon A into N minus Z. So this is equal to N minus Z whole square upon A. This is due to an asymmetric configuration. Means what you say, if a number of neutrons in the nucleus is more than the number of protons, so it is called as asymmetric configuration of the nucleus. And this asymmetric effect is produced for the binding energy. So how much asymmetric effect has been produced? N minus Z upon A. Therefore, this asymmetric energy is given by E asymmetric is equal to some constant asymmetric into this N minus Z upon A, its whole square, or this is E asymmetric is equal to C asymmetric. You know that N is equal to A minus Z. So A minus Z is A minus 2Z. This is A minus 2Z whole square upon A. This is asymmetric energy has to be included. Call this equation as phi. Has to be included in this binding energy term. Very simply. So number of neutrons goes on increasing. As the number of neutrons goes on increasing compared to the number of protons, it produces asymmetric configuration. Then it is this asymmetric configuration or asymmetric effect causes the decrease in the binding energy. How much it causes a decrease in the binding energy is given by this equation 5. So next energy is, this is 5th, pairing energy. What is this pairing energy? It has been observed that nuclei containing even number of protons, that nucleus is found to be most stable. And if a nuclei contains odd number of protons and odd number of neutrons, it is least stable. And odd even number is called as intermediate stable. Most stable, least stable, and intermediate stable. Which one is most stable? If even number of protons and even number of neutrons are present in the nucleus. And which one is very least stable? If odd number of protons and even number of neutrons are present. So if odd number of protons and odd number of neutrons are present, it is least stable. And if odd and even are present, it is called as intermediate stable. This effect is known as pairing effect. This effect is called as pairing effect. So why this happens? Pair means all nucleons are tend to pair up. Means spin up and spin down, it is one pair. They tries to produce the pair in order to attain the lowest energy state. So all protons and have got one energy state. All neutrons are having different energy state. This pairing energy, E pair, is 0 for odd number of A, and it is minus delta for odd n and odd number of Z, and plus delta is plus delta if it is even number of n and even number of Z. Pairing energy is 0 for odd number nuclei containing odd number of A, minus delta for odd number of n and odd number of Z, plus delta for odd even number of n and even number of Z. This pairing energy is given by an empirical formula, that is E pair is equal to plus or minus C pair into A raised to minus 3 by 4. So call this equation as 6. Once again, C pair is the concept of proportionality. Then you substitute all the values of B in this equation. That means volume energy, surface energy, Coulomb energy, and asymmetric energy and pairing energy. You will going to get this as your semi-empirical mass formula M Z A is equal to Z into MP plus A minus Z into Mn minus, this is volume energy C volume A minus surface energy C surface into A raised to 2 by 3, then minus Coulomb energy C Coulomb Z square A raised to minus 1 by 3, then asymmetric energy is minus C asymmetric A minus 2Z whole square upon upon A, then plus or minus C pair A raised to minus 3 by 4. Call this equation as 7. So equation 7 is the semi-empirical mass formula.